Okay, welcome to my space. Organized chaos, you could say. Okay, so hi, I'm Lou. I kind of go by Lou Rose as my artist name, and I'm from Toronto, like born and raised. I've lived here most of my life. I only thought that you could create artwork in a way that was like realistic and super pretty, and I never knew about the whole abstract kind of expression, that different kind of side of creativity. And it took me a really long time to find that part of myself. It wasn't like, okay, I'm gonna be an artist. It was just like, I need to do this, and I have this like innate, just my body is so drawn towards it that it's pretty crazy. Okay, I'm gonna go sew it now. Did you want to do more shots here? Ugh. Okay. Oh, I'm really liking these white ones. Oh, they're coming out. I'm like sewing it together, and then I'm drawing on it a little bit with the machine, and then I'm gonna put them all together with the yellow ones as well, and then stretch that over a canvas type thing. So yeah, I'll probably put that one in. I love this yellow though, it's so vibrant. I also just like to see where the machine takes me, because it's like it's like it has its own mind. You know, it'll catch a material in a certain way, and you'll start sewing in a different direction, or it'll scrunch it in a certain way, which I think is really. I like to think it has a mind of its own. Yay! Yeah, it's kind of hard because I don't pin anything, but I kind of enjoy not having it not pinned, because then if something happens, you just have to kind of work with it. Be like, oh, okay, you know, I messed that piece up, but now I just have to figure out how to change it and make it the way I want it. So it's kind of fun. Wish I had more space to kind of. Okay, I think I'm gonna bring this into the other space to kind of just figure out how everything's looking. Okay. Oh, this is so much better. Oh, I grew up in a kind of a very academic household, and I was in sciences and math, and I thought I was going to become a scientist. That's what my sister and I thought. But at the same time, we're also very into music, so we've always been slash had a massive love for music. Like I played the piano since I was a kid, and the guitar, and I write a lot of music, so that's kind of just another little sideline. So that was kind of my first venture into a creative medium. I was at Concordia University for a year, and I was just incredibly unhappy, and I didn't know why, and I didn't, you know, I wasn't really enjoying my environment. I wasn't feeling like I was clicking with other people just because I wasn't enjoying what I was studying, and I felt like I was just missing something kind of in my life. So I basically kind of went through a very dark period, that really I had started to realize had been spanning since I was a kid, just from not knowing that I needed to express. I needed like this field to express myself, and I would just bottle it all up and kind of go a little bit manic, and I guess so. I came back and I was just living back with my parents, and I kind of just didn't know what I was doing. I just started to kind of just experiment with things because I didn't have anything to do. And one day I kind of went to Madoko and I bought a wooden canvas and I just made this piece. And I'd never really painted except for, you know, in a grade 8 class. I never painted. And it was really interesting because it looked like a kind of a person screaming when I look back at it. And I think that's just how I was feeling in that moment. Just so feeling the need to just like let go and just I had so much built up from years and years and years of just not expressing myself. Yes, I was doing it in music, but it wasn't enough kind of for that. So yeah, and from there I just started painting. Uh, in this corner, I do a lot of painting because it's plaster. So I can just nail things into the wall really easily and like use staples and stuff. So like over here, I have a bunch of canvas pieces that I'm going to cut up just kind of, it's already falling, kind of just tacked into the wall, kind of in preparation to further the process. And more paint cans. Oh, this is like my absolute all-time favorite oil pastel thingy to use. They're livestock markers. So it's sad. It's a sad origin, but really good for art. Yeah, so more paint is over here. I love mist-tinted paints because I go through so much paint. And so it makes no sense for me to buy like baby acrylic pieces. So I just go for the biggest cans I can possibly find. And it's really fun. Yeah, so this is another piece here that I'm working on that all these pieces are going to be sewn together. And then I'm going to wrap it on this canvas. I'm going to take this webbing thingy off. And this is kind of fun because it's a new idea that I have that I've never really done. So I'm kind of excited about it. And these are all this is thread that I've gone round and round and round in circles on the sewing machine, which is really fun. And yeah, this piece here is a bunch of tiles that I found on the side of the street, and I've tiled them to this big board and just experimented with the kind of the grout material. And when you tile stuff, you have this kind of tool and it leaves these marks, and I really love these marks that it's made. So I've kind of thought of that as a kind of a new way of creating texture, which is super fun. Yeah, and then back here is more storage. These are some pieces that are finished / working on. I have a couple pieces that are meant to be on the body. So this is a bunch of tape that was on a piece, and then I took it off when I was finished with the piece because I didn't think the piece it didn't work with the piece, and I wasn't happy, so I took it and then I just like stuck it on my body, and then I was like, oh, this is so fun. So I started taking off different parts of it and then placing it on my body in different ways and created this kind of body sculpture out of these materials. And I think it's great. It's just, I can just stick it on the wall and put it on whenever I feel like it. And it's great. And yeah, so this is just more stuff. This is, I have a piece that I cut out, like a big wooden piece that I used like a jigsaw with. That was really fun, really difficult to do. I broke a couple of jigsaw blades, but that's another story. Yeah, some spray paint. I love to do spray paint. It's not the greatest place to do it here because it's very, I have no, what's the word? No ventilation. So it's like really bad to do in here, but in the summer and the spring when it's nice out, I can bring the stuff outside and do it out there. And it's great. And yeah, I used to have a bunch of tables in here, and then until I realized I never use tables. I love it when stuff's on the ground. And so I'm slowly going to be getting rid of all of this so I can just have everything on the ground so I can just visually see it and then just pick it up. and kind of work that way. And yeah, so this is my space. I think process is such an interesting question because I love learning about other people's processes and seeing what they do and how they get to their final kind of product, or not product, final like finished piece. Because I find that I don't really have a process. I don't have a set process. It's more of I come to the studio, like for example, today came to the studio and I have been working on that piece that's behind you. I'm working on this like plaster piece and filling in these pieces of plaster. And that was a very conscious decision of wanting to create a piece and fill in these like different gaps with this plaster. And then as I was doing that, I just walked over to this other piece and started cutting it up. And it just started happening. And then from there, I just took it and then I just walked over to the sewing machine and I was going to make it into an outfit. But as I was doing that, I started cutting it up again. And then I started sewing all these cut up pieces. And then I was like drawing with the sewing machine. So it's very much just, I really listen to where my body kind of takes me and my like subconscious. And I really love kind of unintentional process. And I just let my body kind of free flow to this final product. And I think that's why I create a lot of very different kind of pieces in a way. Just because some days I'm more drawn to putting pieces on my body, or I'm more drawn to like painting with my body, or I'm more into sitting down and like doing tiny little sketches. It's just very much the feeling I get in the moment. I probably should wear a mask doing this, but I'm not. I'm trying to just smoothen it out so it looks like it's one texture. This piece is just a bunch of little canvases, and I'm basically attached them all together and then and then making just one big canvas. So it's pretty fun. I'm so influenced by my surroundings and the materials that I see because I'm such a visual person. A color or paint, I love going to the hardware store and there's all these mist tint paints, and I just think it's so like, oh, I just want to go and fling this paint all over, So that would be probably one of my biggest inspirations. But also just being around other artists, being in the space that I am now, I can go and there's a jewelry man in the corner and he's doing a lot of welding and a lot of woodwork and all this amazing stuff. He's doing like 3D printing. There's potters upstairs, so like pottery I think is beautiful, and it's just being around, I think, just different types of mediums is so beautiful to me, and I think that's such a big inspiration. You don't have to be an artist from when you were a bebe. You could be, it can happen whenever, and you don't necessarily need to be good at it. You don't need to be able to draw these amazing pieces. You could just do it to do it and to make and yeah. I'm excited to see what happens in the future and see kind of where my artwork takes me, because it's always going in all these different directions. So the future is just an endless amount of possibilities.